Just look at this lovely view. Wouldn't you like to be down there today? This is a scene of a fishing village in Cornwall. I think it's Loo, actually, although I'm not so sure now. I've been to various little fishing villages in Cornwall, but they've all got this magic, historic quality about them and very picturesque. And so I'm going to have a go at this today. As you can see, it's quite complicated, all the detail in it. And it's a good idea to simplify. So I'm not going to do all the detail in there, all those little houses you can see here, and the harbour side fishing places where they land it and gut it and whatever. So we've got this nice colour here, lovely greens, and the darks. We've got the dark colours here and the variety of greens, and the dark of the water and some blue. And we of course have this lovely little fishing vessel here, and a little catamaran there, and this seagull sitting in the foreground. Now I'm not sure whether I shall have a go at him or not. You could leave some comments as to whether I should or I shouldn't. I'm undecided right now. You don't want too much competing for attention. He's right in the foreground. Then we've got this. There's a lot going on, and maybe it makes it too busy, but he's such a lovely bird, isn't he? And I love to go to the seaside and hear the seagulls calling, very typical of the English seaside. And I'm immediately transported to when I was a little boy and I used to visit with my parents. So let's get on with it. I'm not sure whether you can see my sketch, but I've basically laid it out, the principal elements anyway. So let's have a go at this. I'm going to do it fairly fairly loose interpretation, because that's my style in a way, but you've got to get it accurate enough to convey what you want to the viewer. So I've got to be try and get the perspective of my buildings here and the hillside and the water coming in here in the harbour. So how do I start? I think I'm going to start with some gentle washes, and the principle with all the received wisdom in watercolour as you go from light to dark. But like all rules, it's possible to break them, but I think it's a general wise principle. I think lighter colours, sky, these buildings, although with watercolour I want to leave the white of the paper. This is what you normally do with watercolour, and you can use some gouache for highlights if necessary, but I'm going to try and keep the white of the paper to convey the message. Got a few boats in here and a few here, so I will add and subtract as I go, but I'm going to make a little wash up of some nice cerulean blue, I think. So let's get organised. Got my brushes here. Right, I've got my usual assortment of colours here. A mixture of Winsor and Newton. Got a few Senneliers in. Got 2 or 3 yellows and greens and blues and earth colours. I won't go into all the details of them all, but let's see if we can get a bit of a wash in for our sky, and it's quite a nice blue actually. I think I'm going to put in some ultramarine, perhaps a little cobalt. I want a fairly rich blue, nice dark summery blue. Cerulean tends to be a bit cooler, but the ultramarine is a very rich colour. So I'm not going to do wet in wet. I'm just going to wash in and leave, although in my reference picture there were no clouds, I may add some. So let's just get this in. This is £240 knot cold pressed paper, so there's a little bit of texture to it. So with a dry brush I can pick out some, just leave some clouds. Get a little bit in here. Bring it right down. It's all going to be darker, my hillside there. So we needn't worry about running over that. Come right down behind that building. So we'll do that. Right. Okay, we'll leave that for the moment. And then I'm going to get in a wash for the hillside. So I've got a variety of greens. Got sap green, viridian, hooker's green. So I'm going to put a mixture there, depending on the lightness. For instance, in the certain areas I've got quite a light green, sort of warmer green. This bit of the hillside, I'm going to just wipe that in. And I can drop in some darker greens as I wish, as I go. Different colours here. All these lovely houses are built on the hillside here. So we can just do that, wash them in, and then I can also get some darker ones, I think in this area here. So let's get some bit of sap and a bit of hookers, I think. Bit of hookers green. Let's see, put some little ultramarine in it. That will make your green darker. Right. And if it's too green, you can take it down with a little bit of brown. Yes, I think that could start me off. Yes, we've got some bleeding there, so I can make it a bit stiffer mixture. Right, that can do that. darker browny greens as well. You can have infinite colours of green. Trying to preserve some of the areas of white, some of these buildings, some of the white shapes. So I'll go around them. A fairly soft edge on this bit here. If it's too hard, it can look like a bit of a cutout. I don't want that. So keep varying it as you go. Keep changing it up. A little bit of brown there. More green. Let's put a bit of iridium. See what that does. Yes, it gives me a different green there. Right, here we go. Comes down to the sea off here. And I can also have a bright green as well by just adding some yellow, stepping up the yellow bits. Let's drop something in there. Right, okay. I think we can have a bit of yellow up here actually. Give it a little bit of warmth. Warm colours. You don't have to slavishly follow your reference. Take from it what you want to create the image you want. Say it's painting is that. It's, if you want it absolutely accurate, then photographs are what you need. But we're not in the business of that. We can add and subtract what we like. So I think I'm going to leave that there for the moment. We can always come back and add to it later. And we've also got in this foreground, I've got green where that seagull was perched. So we'll just make use of my green here just to give us something here. All right, I think we can do that. Use variety of colors from your palette just to keep it interesting. I noticed there's some bright greens here. I've got a little bit of iridium there, a bit of sap. But that's our wash for the moment. We can put in some more texture a little bit later. So this is my first wash, really. And here we've got along here, just this side of the there's a waterway coming in here, the river's coming down to join the sea, but all along here we've got green algae and seaweeds and various greens going on there, a little green in the water there, darker colours. So let's get something in there fairly quickly. Here's the our water out here. Comes out here all around up to about this point. This boat is on the hard standing here. So let's get some browny colours, some neutral tones going here. Try and paint fairly carefully around the boat there. That's it, there we go. Yes, I think I can add something out here. Got a couple of boats there, a few yachts and things. I'll try and save them. All the shapes. Right, there we are. But I've got to define this little catamaran here with some colour there. But under the hull we've got shadow. We'll put that in a minute. Now let's see if I can. Now this area here is quite dark. In fact, there's black along here. Or I'm not going to use black, on its own. I'll make my own black. A little bit of blue, ultramarine, Payne's grey, something like that. If you use black itself on its own, it's really can kill your picture quite quickly usually. So use it sparingly, I would say. We've got all this is black here, or dark greys. So I've got some Payne's grey there. So I'm trying to keep the perspective, so take our eye into the picture, and a bit of the seawall along there. And along here as well. So let's just map it in. Right, there we go. But I think I can make that a little darker, so I'm going to take a bit of Payne's grey, bit of burnt umber, I think. That's much more the tone I think I need. That's it. Take our eye down there. You can see a little boat, rowboat here on some davits just hanging here. We'll put that in a minute. But I'm just looking at the house now. We've got bay window there, and we've got a sort of tiled element here lying there and repeated there. So a little bit of dry brush work there to preserve a bit of, create some texture. And also on our roof too, we could see what we've done here. And next to it I'm going to change the tone a little bit, which you want to do, even if it's maybe just the same in the in your reference, but you need contrast. Light and dark. Okay, do that. And then we've got darks under here, darks on the roofs here, these different buildings. You can ring the changes as you wish. I think we'll probably go over with some of these with some gouache, perhaps, to give some shape, to suggest. Trying to get some of the shape of the buildings here. Got another one here with some windows set in the roof there. Just a gentle wash and leaving the whites as well. A little bit of, now we want some darker tone there, so I'll put a little bit of blue there. I want it to contrast with this in the shadow. There we go. Right, now let's think about these. We need to get some of these roofs in as well. Let me get my reference picture again. Right. Yes, I think I need some darks here. Some umbers, darks. Can ring some changes. There. A little bit of roof colour, different. Ringing the change there. Right. And all there. And different reds on the top of this purpley colour, top of this old boat here. You can move around your painting, you don't have to go left to right. Some people do. You need a bit of umber there, a bit here, and some lighter tones as well. Let's get a little reddy brown in that, so we can give some tiles. Yes, can do that. And we've got a few things we can add here. There we go, we need to change our tonal values as well, as we do. These little sheds have their big openings, big doors there. I think we need to perhaps put some darker roof shapes in. So lots of these properties are really hidden in the trees. So we could make use of that in a minute. Just little bits of them are showing. Right. I think I'm going to put some ochre in some of these buildings here. Always a good go-to, bit of ochre. When I put some windows in with some darker mix, we'll start to read better. So often paintings go through a, well, some people describe it an ugly phase. Certainly you wonder, where are you going to make anything of it? But don't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up, because you'll be amazed how you can make some changes. Just a few minor things and it suddenly takes on a life of its own. Let's get a bit of roof in there. Bit of a dormer window there, I think. Try to keep these buildings a little bit on the white side. A very light tone going over them there, but I'll put some details in a minute. And I think I'm going to put little bits of garden in here. You can see a little vegetation coming down. Let's try and get some of this filled in here. This is green. I think we need it a bit darker actually. Let's get some ultramarine. Could put a bit of iridium in it, but it is definitely, oh, we've got green along there. Right, it's a bit too bluey, put some more iridium perhaps in there. I think that's a bit of burnt umber, I think. Yes, let's come in there. Little bits of green here, little fingers of green. Go around that radar dome there. Let's get some grey going. Some of this roof here. That shed. So we'll have to put some more architectural features in. I think, to some of our buildings to make them read a little better. And we want a dark sea wall here. I need to darken that up a little bit. Comes round here, out. There, that's better. Want some lines to help us get some perspective as well. You can do that. Add some lines in to help take your eye in. Now let me see. I think I could step up this blue a bit actually to reflect. Give it a little bit more warmth. So I'm going to put a bit of cobalt here, I think. Yes, why not? Yes, that'll do it. We've got some of the clouds reflected in our sea and our harbour scene. I can do the shapes a little bit, but I need to bring this needs to come in a bit more there, a bit darker I think, a bit more ultramarine, a bit of viridian perhaps. It's quite dark though, so let's put some brown in there. Yes, I think we can do that. Put some texture into the wall here. A little dry brush there, it's got a little bit of paint on, not too much water, so help give me some texture. Even there with layout of the texture in the paper, that helps as well. Right. Let's think now. We want a different sort of brown or earthy colour. Some of these structures, I think. That wall there too. That wall too, I need to darken up that bit of the seawall so it can read better. Some steps we can put in later. Now I noticed, I think perhaps I should get a smaller brush now. Although I'm just looking at how dark some of these walls are. So let's do that. Although, be on your guard trying to replicate your photograph, because photographs don't convey the detail that the human eye does. It's all these blacks. If you chase the photograph, it never quite works. There's a lot more in the darks, which the human eye picks up, but the camera doesn't necessarily. And that's worth bearing in mind, I think. A few boats out here. I put some colour in. Now I think it's about time I got onto a smaller brush, perhaps. I've got this chimney here, quite black. Now I've got the shadows under the eaves as well. So if you put in these little bits, you'll suddenly start to see it come to life. Where's that window there? There. There. Just a suggestion of them. You see how you suddenly starts to take on a bit of meaning, a little clarity, but it's you have to be patient. It comes. I say there's lots of things going on in these buildings. Big doors on the quays. And the boats tie up and offload their catch. Some piers here. This is the davits, or this rowboat suspended here, quite high up. You've got to do enough to suggest it, and then with a bit of luck the viewer will fill in the rest and probably do a better job than you do, strange as it may seem. I think I'm going to put a little blue with a smaller brush along these some of these window frames. If I can get a small brush, can reach. Let me think. Yes, here we are. Yes, got a little brush like this. Just going to get a bit of cerulean to help me lay in some of those suggestion of the windows. Let's have a look at that colour. Right, let's see this now. Yes, we can do that. Again, it's about suggestion. You don't have to slavishly do it all. Yes, I think we can do that. And while I've got this blue, I can do something on this hull, which is a rather lovely boat. That comes down to this line here, where it goes a different colour, which we can do with to vary the tones a little bit. nice blue fender there. We'll make it a bit darker under here. It's on the shaded side. A little bit there. Got some little blue boats here as well. It's my point about jumping around a little bit. Where you've got it in your eye. Yes, it comes down a bit there. A little bit of shaded dry brush there. Some of the blues. Got some browns here. A little box that they have, these vessels. Along here. And I need to get a nice sort of red. Orangey red. Let's put a bit of yellow with that. A bit of ochre, yes. We can do that. That's it. That'll do it. That comes like this. I've got to get some shadows under these as well in a little bit. I need to blend this a little bit now. Take a look. That's it. So you haven't got a sharp thing, and this is get some dark blue here and see if we can pick out some of the streakers that's going down here in our windows here. Got to put those in. One on the side there, like that. I'm going to put some left belts on there. And then here's the dome for the marine radar, I guess that must be. Boats have so much paraphernalia. Got his rope there. Now I need to put a couple of marks, come down like this, on this, and it comes up to there. that side as well. As I said, they have so much paraphernalia. Come down here. And this, I've got to get this dark. This is in the shaded side. And of course, remember, it's the light and dark that gives some form to your shape. Otherwise, it's flat. And here I need to bring this out a little bit here and put in some shade in here that gives some shape to that there. I think I'll bring it out further with some more shadow. Right. Actually, well, I've got my shadowy colour, which is a little bit of red or purple and a little bit of ultramarine. Can make a nice bluish shadowy colour, which I can bring out here. I think that needs to be a bit darker, so you get some more ultramarine, a little more red, darken it down. That's what we need, yes. Need to lose that hard edge there. Needs to come there. How's that? I think we need a bit more of a pose there. And we could darken up here too, I think. Yes, that will do. While we've got some darks, we can try and show some of the paving here. It's a bit of a walkway along there. Right. Okay, how is it coming? Are we getting along? I think my battery is going to die soon, so I'll probably stop and then come back after I've done a little more. Just put some shadow under that cat there. Catamaran there, look. Comes down like this. And deep shadow under the ear. Shadow like this, it comes out. Shadow in there. Well, you can see now that I've completed the painting and done a lot more detail, so hopefully you will see that it started to read, you know, with some little fine points in the windows, the davits here. Change the color generally, but mainly I put details in, little straighter lines which you expect to see when you do architecture, so that helps. And a little contrast. This face is much darker than this, so you have some contrast, and some gouache in here to put the mast in, and do a few things to the boat, put the radar there, the dome, and put in some ropes, but generally worked on some of the textural forms just to give a little bit more meaning. And I don't know if you can spot a little character there, one here and a couple here, a couple on the in front of this big shed here. So it's always good to put a little human interest, and people are going to have some fun spotting it. So you want the viewer to do some work, really. It's a sort of active process, you know. If you spell everything out in detail, that, strangely enough, is counterproductive. People want a little mystery, I think, sometimes, and you can peer into it, and they create what they want to see to some extent. So this is a loose interpretation of a fishing village in Cornwall. I'd be interested to hear any comments that you make. Just be free to put them in, and I'll try to answer some of them. But basically it's I think I've captured something of the atmosphere anyway. That's my intention. That's what I do in my painting anyway. And all this glorious colour. Not an exact copy by any means, but I've taken from the photo reference items and shapes that help me create a memorable image. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to see more, please push the subscribe button, and then you'll be notified when I do more work. So that helps the channel grow as well, and gives me a lot of encouragement if I see that people are viewing it and subscribing. Well, thanks for watching.